comes in, fights two world-class fighters, and he beats them. Isn't that amazing? And before, nobody heard of him.
Carlos, your opponent, Johil de Oliveira, is a very well-rounded, very experienced fighter. Do you plan on dictating the fight?
Can I let my coach answer that?
Carlos's plan is to just rule the fight. Rule the fight. Anything he does is because Carlos wants him to do it. You know, the moment he shows up, that's all we're worried about.
The second match consists of two 10-minute rounds.
青コーナー177センチ 79.1 キロ
Okay, here he is, Carlos Newton, in tip-top physical condition at the age of 24 years old. The sunglasses will come off.
As well depends.
76.6 キロ Johil Oliveira!
Johil de Oliveira. You know, he had a classic 2 matches with Jose Pele Landi in Brazil. He split the wins with Pele. He won the first one and then lost the decision in the second one.
Oh, my God. So we can say he's real tough.
If you go the distance with Pele, you are tough.
Yes, sir.
Carlos Newton, among other things, has fought Dan Henderson, who he lost to. It was a very controversial loss. And he also lost a very close, actually, he submitted to Kazushi Sakuraba, so he himself has been in with some of the greatest in the sport also. And it's going to be luta libre versus jiu-jitsu, boss.
That's it, right? Now, we're going to see what he does with the hands.
Carlos has been training boxing a lot.
As you can see already.
There's the low kick.
Just feeling each other off. See what distance they are.
Oh, Johil's coming out throwing some bombs with those kicks. I mean, that right low kick set up for that left high kick barely missed. Carlos could have done some damage. Another low kick by Johil.
I absolutely didn't know that Johil could kick like that. It's going to be good.
I think he might be in one of the best conditions of his life. There's the low kick by Johil. Carlos takes him down into the guard. Johil on the bottom, Carlos on top. Now from here, what is Carlos going to want to do? Pass the guard?
He has to. I mean, Johil is very good from the bottom. He will attack, try to attack everything. This is, I think, the best thing for Carlos to do is to pass the guard.
Pass the guard, maybe get mount or side mount, and to go for an armbar, which is probably his best submission. Carlos grinding away to the body. Johil got a closed guard. Now he opens the guard up. The guard being the legs around the waist of Carlos Newton, for those of you who are new at the sport of mixed martial arts. Both men grinding away. Somehow we knew this one was going to go to the ground.
Yep, both ground fighters. 80% ground fighting, and the rest is striking.
You know, Johil, he mentioned that his favorite finish is the KO.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so if they stand back up, we might see some bombs. We didn't see much boxing from Carlos Newton, but maybe he figured because of the low kick, he didn't want to stand there for too long with Johil.
Yeah, why should you take any risk? If they're going to stay like this, the referee will probably
not a lot of activity. You can't really deliver a knockout blow when you're this close to an opponent because it ends up being more of an arm punch. Now, Carlos is going up high. Now he can deliver some damage from that distance, but he's also susceptible to an up kick by Johil or, now he's trying to pass.
Why doesn't he pass the guard?
And it looks like he's got that guard almost passed, but Johil is going to, upside down position. Is Carlos going to get him into? almost. Oh, Johil's working the guard. Now Carlos, Johil might be working for an Achilles ankle lock here, but I don't think Carlos is going to fall for that.
No, he already peeled the other leg off, so it's going to be difficult to lock it up.
And he's susceptible to his own left leg, to a heel hook. Oh, a lot of scrambling here on the ground. Looks like Carlos is thinking about a knee bar, but no, he goes back to half guard.
Beautiful movement. It's a great fight.
Now that was some technical maneuvers. You can see the bruise on Carlos's left leg from the few low kicks that Johil did land early on in the match.
This is a little dangerous to put your arm around the neck because you're going to get turned. But he's got it back already.
I think that Johil has to be careful that he doesn't get mounted by Carlos, because Carlos, I believe, has got a real good top game from the mount, mainly that arm bar.
Plus, it's very hard to get him, or to get him off of you. His balance is real good. He's going to ride like he rides a horse, you know.
He's falling back. Look how he was going to fake a leg lock, but Johil is going for that Achilles ankle lock, and
very nice defense. Put your other leg into it.
And they stand back up, folks. They scramble back up. There's an excellent little tit for tat there on the ground. And the referee lets him adjust the gloves, and they're back to a boxing stance. See if Carlos throws that jab and right hand.
Now, and this is difficult also because you've been grappling on the ground constantly, and then when you stand up, it's real strange to punch and strike again. It's like awkward. It works against each other. Punching and...
There's a right hand by Johil.
And a nice right hand.
Both fighters very relaxed. Nice right hand there by Carlos Newton. And Johil goes for the takedown, and now he's on top. Carlos got a butterfly guard, ready for a perfect sweep. He could do an elevator sweep here. Johil stacks back up. And now,
I can't believe this. I've seen him doing this so many times. He's phenomenal.
now Carlos on top of the side mount. Johil's crossing his legs to prevent the mount. But I believe that Carlos is going to work clockwise, as he's going now, and try and go for that right arm of Johil. But Johil's
mount.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's not going to work.
And now he's on top in half guard or half mount, whichever vantage point you prefer. Newton on top, De Oliveira on the bottom. A very technical grappling match so far, boss.
Yep, De Oliveira should try to turn him to the right, not anymore, of course, but try to take the moment. This is a better position. Push yourself away, create some distance so you get some striking power. Very nice left. Farming away.
Now Carlos is landing some shots.
Pushes him back.
Partially blocked there. It looks like Johil is thinking about that left leg of Carlos's, but Carlos is keeping it back, almost like bait, to get him to reach for it and open himself up. Then Carlos drops a punch. Johil is bleeding now a little bit. Some of those old cuts from his Vale Tudo headbutt days are reopening back up.
Carlos is playing a good game. He's got good control. He's smooth. I trained with him a lot. He came to the Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu Club. He trained like for, I think for 2 months with us. And I trained like 4 times a week with him. He's very smooth. Oh, and that's what I said before. Now you have to watch out when you got the arm around the neck.
You know, that was an excellent defensive move by Johil. Almost got the top position, but Carlos rolled out. Now they're back. And now Johil goes for the up kick. You don't want to eat that thing. Johil looks like he's going for a Kimura here from the side. He doesn't have the guard, so I don't know how effective that's going to be. No, Carlos popped out.
This is a dangerous position if you know to play it.
Yeah, Carl, it's a dangerous position for De Oliveira, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
You know, Carlos does have the right. Oh, now Carlos going for the mount, but he doesn't get it because Johil defends with the feet on hips. And Johil scooting back. A very wily Johil on the bottom. Oh, nice left hand by Johil from the bottom, just sitting up and popping in one.
I shoot, if I were Carlos, shoot and attack him from this position like he did before. Push yourself a little bit out, create a little distance, and just go for the straight punch to the head.
It's surprising that Carlos, in this position, side mount position, does not go for the knee, the left knee to the head.
That's what I was thinking, you know. It is allowed,
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so
If your opponent
Total blur.
is facing up and you're side mounted onto him, you can knee him to the head or kick him to the head. If he's facing down on all fours, you cannot kick him or knee him to the head. Down into a real close body lock on the ground. Johil on the bottom. Looks like he's got full guard. Actually, it's half guard.
Half guard, yeah. Yeah, Carlos has to watch out that he doesn't put the arm around the neck. Now he's very susceptible for a turn to the right.
Now he's got full guard. No, he doesn't. You know, it's very interesting that it looks like De Oliveira is fighting a defensive fight right now, and Carlos is being a little more aggressive, so maybe the judges feel that Carlos is winning the round. What do you think, Box?
Oh, for sure, because he's constantly on top. He reversed, he did the takedown, and he's working, you know, he's constantly working. Johil is also working, but Carlos is the one who's connecting. He should keep doing this, what he's doing right now, you see?
Yeah, Carlos is grinding with that, grinding with that right hand. There's the left hand. Johil does block it.
Go to the body, has to work the body too.
Yeah, you should go body, body, head sometimes.
Yep.
That
Go
way.
head, buddy, head, buddy. Last 1 minute.
1 minute left, folks. A real technical ground match here. Like we thought, it was going to be a clash of styles, and one man trying to set up a submission, the other man trying to possibly set it back up so we can get back on his feet.
You see Carlos constantly controlling with his hand on the jaw of Johil. He's turning his head constantly. He's pushing him back now with the forearm, constantly cross-facing him.
And he's also setting up a punch because he gets the distance with the other hand. And sometimes he can drop that punch right where the other hand was. Johil pushing back. He was going to elbow him there, but that is not allowed in the rules of Pride. No elbows to the head.
And it's difficult. He's a Vale Tudo fighter from Brazil, and anything goes there. So sometimes fighting with restrictions for these kind of guys is a little difficult. He could go for a toe hold right now, Carlos Newton. Yeah. He could try, at least.
Figure four on that left leg of Johil.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's the end of round one, folks. Looked like Carlos had that round more in control than Johil. Johil was on the defensive primarily. Did land some low kicks early on. It'd be interesting to see if Carlos is going to try to box him again in the second round. He didn't try and box him too much, although he did land a few punches standing after they restarted themselves. The referee did not have to meddle in any way on the ground because they kept busy. They reversed a few times.
It was perfect, and they're looking in good shape, as you see them both. They're not breathing heavy. These are two high-class fighters who can go second round do the same thing as the first.
And here we got Carlos Newton grinding away. A lot of punches being blocked by Johil. Johil got good defense on the bottom. Now he's pushing that jaw, like you said, boss.
It's perfect. And there he goes again, and pushing it back, cross-facing again.
He holds him down and keeps control. A lot of those are missing, but it's still to a judge. He's being the more aggressor. Johil's on the defensive. You have to award points in a close fight to the man who is aggressive. And right now it is Carlos Newton. Johil de Oliveira. You can see the scar tissue from some previous headbutts. The problem with the headbutt, if you don't headbutt high on the head, you can cut yourself.
Oh, yeah. I have another guy from Holland who's actually here in the audience. Is Ramon Dekker, who's one of the greatest Thai boxers ever, was the first one who beat the Thais in their home turf, in the Lumpini Stadium, in the Rajadam Stadium. And he's got a face like this too. He's got a lot of scars from all the elbows he received. And actually we got Rob Kamen also in the audience. Also a very known Thai boxer. Also one of the first people that went to Thailand and did everything.
You know, those are two countrymen of yours that you can be proud of because both of them were dominant world champions in the martial art of Muay Thai. Dekker compiling almost 200 fights. And here we are back to the action. Round two, 2 10-minute rounds it's scheduled for. Carlos Newton being toweled off there.
By Everton McCoy-Ewan. Sparring partner of Lennox Lewis. My God, hey.
That's a good trainer to have, huh?
Oh yeah, and look at his size. He's not that big.
So looks like he might be getting in the ring soon.
Yep.
Round two, folks. And Johil bows, and they come back out. They touch gloves again. A lot of respect here. They both know who each other are. They've been fighting at different sides of the world for a long time. One from North America and one from South America. They're both from the Americas. Newton coming in, faking a jab. Spinning heel kick by Johil, but misses.
But very surprisingly, he got good low kicks. And he's hitting with it. He's connecting with it.
Maybe if he can keep this standing, he can just institute a Muay Thai battle and try and outbox. Now he goes for a double leg, gets the double. Carlos pulls him into a stacked up guard. Now he's got a butterfly guard. Looks like he's going to try and sweep Johil. Probably try and sweep him. No, but now he's got a closed guard or an open guard. And Johil on top. See what he can do here. See if he can avoid the armbar.
Carlos got some real good hip movement.
Yeah, it looks like Carlos might want to try that left leg in front of the face of Johil and try and trap the left arm. What do you think, Boss?
Yeah, I'm thinking also both arms. He can go both arms, I see.
Because Johil is holding behind Carlos's neck with the left arm.
Yeah.
So if Carlos brings the right leg in front of Johil and throws him over on his belly or on his back, he could have that left arm bar.
Yeah, but we cannot forget Johil is a good ground fighter too, and he probably will pull it out.
You know, I think it's interesting because they come from different grappling backgrounds. They both do something that the other one doesn't expect, because when you train in jiu-jitsu and your partner is a jiu-jitsu stylist, you know he's going to do jiu-jitsu counter move. But lucha libre, the moves are different.
Oh yes. And it's a lot of difference also with the gi or without the gi. The game is completely different. It's a little faster. You see the guys who do jiu-jitsu. Yes, he's hooking his foot under. He's preparing for a sweep.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he's going to sweep that left video. But Johil defends the sweep. The sweep being the foot under the thigh of the person on top and work to flip them over so he can get a top position. And maybe in the process, he's going for the armbar, and Johil just pops back up, stands back up, throws a kick. Carlos blocks it. And back up. Johil going in for the takedown now. Carlos is going for the guillotine choke, but Johil got him kind of tight.
He had to let it go, but he didn't have his hands up. He had an arm in between Johil, and then it's very difficult.
But Johil has been much more aggressive in this round. He's shot him for takedowns. He's thrown a few kicks. He's been on top a little bit, where in the first round he was primarily on the bottom.
It's going to be a tough one for the judges if it's going to go to the distance.
Another single leg shoot there by Johil, and Carlos defends well with the sprawl and back up. Right hand misses by Johil to Oliveira. Johil's got his hands down, so if Carlos had fast hands, he could come in with a punch combination, but I think that's what Johil wants.
Like he was waiting for that right hand.
Okay, left kick there by Johil, and he falls back on to his behind. Carlos coming down onto the ground and engaging him in his guard.
Same position as he was in the first round, and did some good work, so he can do it again. He has to put his forearm on Johil's face, try to push him out, himself away from him. And again, create some distance.
Now, do you think there's a scenario where Johil can submit Carlos Newton on the ground?
You can never tell, man. I mean, if it's a fast one, unpredictable thing, you know. I mean, he got submitted by Sakuraba with the knee bar, you know. It's like an unpredictable thing. If you make one little mistake, you're going to pay for it.
I think that this fight, at this point, we have 6 minutes left. And it's slowed down just a little bit. Carlos on top in the half mount or half guard of Johil. Both men thinking, looking for an opening, waiting for the other man to make a mistake. Sometimes when you get two men waiting, it creates more of a strategic fight rather than a barn burner.
He's grabbing the hand of Johil. It's like he's want to go for like a key lock. Grab the hand, punch with the left, and suddenly go for a lock. He let it go now, but I think that was his upset.
Yeah, but Johil does have full guard now. He's got a closed guard behind Carlos's back.
Yeah, if they stay long in this position, the referee's going to put it up.
Yeah. So far, boss, even though it's been a close round, we're halfway through. Who would you give this round to so far?
So far, in the beginning, it was from Johil, but then Carlos took him down, reversed him. Now he's on top. So this round is like a little bit even. The first round was for Carlos. Second round, I would say, right now, it's a little even. It depends on what people are going to do now. But still, my book with Carlos win on points.
Yeah, I think that with a guy like Johil, he's very hard to submit. I don't believe he's ever tapped out from a submission hold in Vale Tudo competition. He's been stopped with strikes due to cuts. But Carlos does have a full toolbox of submission holds. But Johil, being the wily veteran that he is, you know, Johil, when he retires, he's got a certificate in Brazil to practice law.
Is that a fact?
So what are you going to do if you're in court and you disagree with the other lawyer and you know that the guy's a Vale Tudo champion?
Yeah. And then look at his face and you know he has been into fights. Not in court yet, but outside the court.
You know, he's followed in his father's footsteps. His father was a Vale Tudo fighter also. He had a record of 18 wins and 2 losses in Vale Tudo and retired at the very late age of 46 years old. Johil feels he can go till at least 45 himself.
Oh my God, that's a long age. I mean, you know, you're going to get injuries. The injuries don't go away anymore. I can say because I got them, and I'm only 35. I think in jiu-jitsu, in that kind of game, you can go real long, you know. But like in this type of fighting, the knuckles, everything hurts from punching, and the work your knees from being constantly throwing down, sprawling, all these things. At 45, hey, it's a good goal, let me say. Huh?
It is a good goal. He is 31 years old, Johil de Oliveira, so he's looking at 14 years from now if he does continue. And back to the action. Looks like Carlos still on top. No submissions likely at the moment for either man. Just a lot of arm punching to the ribs and head. Not a lot of action right now.
Yeah, I should put the fight up.
Yeah, the referee might want to stand him up, but you know, a lot of times grapplers don't like restarts. Purists of the sport that are, you know, out of the loop of entertainment, which this is entertainment after all, might think, oh, no, stay down. But to an audience, are they going to think, yeah, this is the fight of the century?
That's what the people want to see. The people want to see a stand up. You know, if they don't improve their positions, I would say stand up. But they're working.
Yeah, no damage being done per se, though. 2 minutes left, boss.
Yep. Let's see it. In a beautiful, clean ring until now. Sometimes we see the ring covered in red, and everything is spotless, which is good.
You know, it's tough. You know, Johil having fought with elbows, he could have been cracking the elbow to the top of. There we go, the restart, like you said, boss. Yeah, it's good. It's a good thing.
It's very good.
You know, there wasn't a lot of action, not a lot of activity. Nobody's really going for anything.
That's what I say. Nobody's trying to pass the clock, and a yellow card. But for what?
They're getting a yellow card. A yellow card is a warning. If you get 3 yellow cards, you get disqualified. I'm not sure who got the yellow card, or maybe was it 2 yellow cards? Back to standing again.
Just explain to me it's not aggressive enough. And then you're going to get a yellow card when you stall. I think that's a real good rule.
Okay, who's stalling though?
I'm really
right hand by Johil.
Oh my God, good. You see, they're full of conditioning. I would go for it now.
Nice knee there by Carlos Newton. Johil returning fire with his own knee. We're getting close to the end of the fight, folks. They're back up. Will there be a flurry of action? Will punches and kicks fly?
I think Carlos has to attack. Johil putting his arms down like that. He has to go for it. Very nice reversal. He's a master in that. You know, somebody takes him down and then he reverses the takedown.
Uh-oh. He's going for that arm that Johil counters.
Oh, no, he can go for the key lock. He plays it right. Okay, just push yourself out. Put it on your elbow, or your forearm on his jaw. Cross face him. Push yourself out and go 30 seconds full power punching. That's what I should do. That's what should I advise if I was his corner.
Well, if I was in his corner, I would say move the left arm and throw the left knee.
That's it. To the head. Oh, no.
Johil going for something, and Johil going to pop back open. Carlos coming back down, grabbing the leg, back in guard. Carlos working for side mount again, and there it is, the end of the match. 2 10-minute rounds in the bag. Who won, boss?
I think Carlos won. I think he won the fight. Although I have to say, Johil was good on his feet. He landed a few good strikes. But Carlos did too. Carlos landed all the strikes on the ground, the real ones that count. Got good reversals, at the takedown, good sprawl. So yeah, in my book, Carlos would win the fight.
Okay, Carlos Newton, 24 years old. Johil de Oliveira, 31 years old. Do you think that is an age difference that would make a difference in this fight as far as stamina?
But no, not 31, not yet, I think. I think I was like in the best shape when I was around like 30, 31. I felt myself the strongest and everything, more ripe, I don't know. And 24, it's pretty close. 31, you got more experience probably. You know, and growing up in Brazil, you do a lot of street fights, you know, it makes you tough, mentally strong. It looks like they're gonna do another 5-minute overtime, or not? No.
They're gonna come to the center for the judge's decision.
Okay, let's see what's gonna be.
And let's see.
Okay.
Let's see what the judges have to say.
判定の結果をお伝えします。判定の結果、勝者、カーロス・ニュートン
Yep.
The judges have ruled the winner of this match from the UK, Carlos Newton!
見事勝利を収めました。
Okay, Carlos Newton gets the decision over Johil. No surprise to us here at ringside. A slower paced fight. He fought conservatively. He knew he was fighting a veteran. Johil making his debut in Pride, coming up short, but he'll probably be back.
Did I hear this right? Did they say from the UK? Is he from England? Officially? Or? No, yeah, Canada. Okay. I thought that they said UK. I thought it was 20. And here we go again. Watch this. He's going to do the power move.
Here goes the shadow box. Carlos Newton, one of the most well-conditioned athletes in the sport. Love that hair, boss.
You gotta love it. Like Seal. Okay, here we go. What I was waiting for.
The fireball by Carlos Newton. That's a great move. That move was probably more exciting than the fight.
Oh, no. I thought the fight was great.